Hello and welcome back. In this lesson we're going to see how React components gain access to their children, and in the process we'll set up some of the scaffolding for the next lesson on React context. We're quite familiar with opening and closing tags. For instance, here main has an opening tag up here and a closing tag down here. Now the contact between the opening and closing tags is the children. So far, we haven't used this opening tag, closing tag syntax for our React components, but there's no reason why we can't. So for instance, I could say, have an opening and closing tag for banner element, and if I just run the app, you'll see it's exactly the same as it was before. It's all working just fine. There are no errors in the console. So this is perfectly valid. But if we place some content in between the opening and closing tag, in other words, if banner had some children, at present we haven't learnt how to gain access to that content. And that's what we're going to see in this lesson. Now to do that, I'll just undo that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename app to app content. And I'm going to create a brand new React component called app down here. So I'll say const app equals, and then our usual arrow function, like this. And I'm going to essentially place the app content down here. But in order to do that, I'm going to place it in between an opening tag and closing tag of another React component, which we haven't written yet. So let me just show you what that'll look like. Here we go. So I'm going to have a brand new component called counter provider. Don't worry about the name for now, it'll make sense in the next lesson. But in between we've got a child, and it is the app content, which of course is the app we know and love. So all we have to do is write this counter provider and we'll see how to give it access to the children. And I'll just create an import statement for it first. And you see I'm importing it from a folder called context. As I said, we're sort of setting up for the next lesson here. And it's called counter context. So in this file, I'm just going to paste in some code, which will show you how it works. It's really very simple. We have passed the children in amongst the props. At present, it's the only prop. And so we're destructuring it down there, and React gives whatever's in between the opening tag and the closing tag, in other words this, it gives it the property name children. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the children and I'm displaying it in between a pair of opening and closing div tags. And we should see that nothing again has changed. And this is the mechanism for getting hold of children. We just access them through the child property of the props. So I am going to just tidy this up a little instead of doing this. Remember in the last lesson we have this very concise JavaScript context where we can get rid of props and just put the destructured syntax directly into the parameters. So let's bring this up, and again we'll see everything's working just fine. So I hope you like that. We'll be using it a few times in this course, but for now I'll close this lesson and we'll look at React context in the next.